What year did you come to Canada in?
1985.
How old were you when you came to Canada?
I was 12 years old.
What did you do in India before coming to Canada?
I was just in school.
Were you in what type of school? Like elementary? Yeah,
High school.
high school. Okay. When you were in India, what were your expectations of Canada?
Well, brighter future basically. I was too young to have any goals or anything like that, but just looking forward to a brighter future.
What did you imagine Canada as? Like the weather, the people, any stories that people told you about?
I heard it was a clean place, clean and safe place. And mountains, I heard about, especially about West Coast here in Vancouver. Mountains and lakes, rivers, and so on. I was trying to imagine what would it look like.
When you got off the plane and arrived in Canada, what was the first sight, smell, or anything that you remember?
Well, what I noticed, it was more greener here and cleaner. So that's what I liked here. It was a lot cleaner.
Okay. 1 second, I'm gonna actually move it back a bit. Okay. Okay, so when you came to Canada, what did you start into? Like, were you working? Were you at school? Or
Went to school. I did work here part-time afterwards, helping parents out. You know, they were picking berries in the farms. They couldn't get any decent job. Back then, it was hard to get jobs. Probably British Columbia went through the recession back in 80s, 82, so weren't a whole lot of jobs available. So, you know, my parents, my brother, the first job they got is picking berries in the farm.
and when you went to school, what school did you go to, if you remember?
Well, elementary school I attended Simon Cunningham. It's on 140th Street in Surrey, 140 and
Okay.
93.
And so while you were in school, what were your goals or your aspirations?
When I was in school, our focus was to study hard and, and get a better job, a better paying job. And in school, my goal was to be a heavy duty mechanic or certified mechanic.
Okay. And when you arrived in Canada, did you know English?
Very little. I could read, but speaking was an issue. Understanding was an issue. The grammar was a major problem too.
Okay. And so when you were in school, did you feel that you were sort of on the sidelines because of this language barrier?
Yes, we got picked on quite a bit and got discriminated quite a bit because of the language barrier.
Okay. Did you, just as a young kid, did you have any sort of like a circle of friends or anywhere that you went for almost relief?
Well, our friends were more. I did made a few friends after a few weeks into a school. It was a few of other guys who also immigrated into Canada and they were new into Canada. So I guess we kind of understood each other. So that's when we start hanging around and start playing around together. So that's what helped.
I don't want to get into like the racism stuff just yet. I want to get a couple of the questions out of the way. When you came here, what was the first Western food that you had?
It's a good question. It's very hard to tell. Now, I'm not sure. Probably. I never thought of that. Might be something to do with the fast food, maybe burgers, or it could be a pizza kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think of like the Canadian culture, the food, and all that sort of stuff?
Well, I guess all cultures, everybody got their own taste to it. So it was a good food. I kind of liked it. It's fine.
Okay. And so after you, well, actually, did you complete high school when you were
Yes.
there? So what did you do after high school?
Well, I couldn't really pursue with my goal of being a mechanic because I had to go to a post-secondary education for that, and or attending BCIT. We were kind of we family needed financial assistance, so I started working full time, and the job I was getting, I started driving a truck, so it was a better paying job. So when you actually did the calculations, what I'm gonna make becoming a mechanic and what I was making at the time driving a truck was not a whole lot difference. Of course, mechanic would have been long term, but we had to same time look at the short term goals too, what we needed at the time. So I didn't pursue my career in mechanic. I actually started driving a truck.
Okay. Were there any other jobs that you held, or was truck driving the main thing?
While I was in school, I worked in farm, so on the weekends and holidays. So for me, going on holidays, taking time off, going to beaches, it was not the thing. If I had 2 or 3 days off, I would be looking for work where I can make some extra money so we can pay our bills and bring a food to the table.
Okay. And so even getting a job, did you feel that you were you didn't have the same opportunities as a white Canadian, or did you feel that it was the same and it just depended on qualifications?
Well, when I was getting a job for me to drive a truck, I didn't really felt that, so I don't think that was the issue.
And so going back a bit, did you ever, well, you said you faced racism and discrimination. Could you share some stories with us?
Well, in school we faced quite a bit racism issues. I noticed back then people were immigrating into British Columbia, but it was all like into patches. It wasn't the community was all over the place. And there were small patches where it was kind of normal, and other sites where it was more Caucasians. I couldn't blend into them, not speaking the language properly or having friends and stuff. So I was missing out on a lot of the conversation they were having. So that kind of put me into a spot where they were making fun of me or fun of the other students that came from overseas, immigrated into Canada. So it was a typical thing, and I'm pretty sure that's happening in this time and age right now too.
Okay. Was there, if you don't mind me asking, was there any specific story that sticks out to you where you felt that you felt very ostracized in the community, like very pushed away, sort of thing?
You're talking about from mainstream community?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, right now I don't see that. I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was in school, especially I was in a high school in India, and I was put 3 years back and into elementary school when I went to school here. So back then I was also had a long hair, and I was tying up my hair is up top with a little turban. So people would come and when they were discriminating, they would put juice or stuff like that into my hairs. So they were actually kind of attacking me how I looked and on a religion part of thing. And most comments, I'm not sure if it's appropriate to say. Should I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
They were calling us packies and all that. Well, it's a pretty common word back then. It doesn't matter. They didn't know who Packy was or whatever. They were just calling us packies and just bullying, basically. That's what I felt. So I ended up cutting my hair and then I went clean shaved for a while when I was in school, just to get away from that bullying stuff that was happening on our daily basis too.
Okay. One second. Okay, and so now moving to today, or even into the future a bit more. Like what other jobs have you held, and what job do you hold now?
Well, I did trucking for quite a bit, fairly long time. I would say close to a big part of my life, about 18 to 19 years, where I kind of ran my own business too, having my own company and hiring the other people to haul loads for us and stuff. Basically, running as a small business. But for last 4 years ago, I was always thinking about changing a career. I didn't really like the trucking that much right now. I was doing it because I had no other choice. And one time, like when I was financially stable and I can do something else, and I decided to make a move and change my career from trucking into becoming a real estate agent. So I'm selling properties now.
Okay. And so now looking back on your life a bit, do you feel that you've achieved what you wanted to achieve?
Well, people always want more. Like you're setting a goal in a life. Your goals are what I normally do. I tend to set my goals at a little bit higher. So that means I'm challenging myself all the time to achieve. Um, if you say, did I achieve what I really wanted to achieve? Well, somewhat I did. And you don't get everything that you want all the time. So sometimes you have to make some sacrifices. So which we did too, time to time. But I'm pretty happy with living here in Vancouver, in Surrey, in British Columbia. I enjoy life right now.
Okay. And so just going back a bit more, did you feel that the sense of community here, that they were tied together more, and that you were able to, like for some people, like the elderly, they would go to the gurdwaras, or they would hang around with friends, play cards. Did you feel that you had that same sort of community that you could rely on for support?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
No, not really. Of course, we have friends and other people that help you out, or family members, relatives, friends, they help you out. but going as a whole community to the community and asking for help, I guess I never really needed it.
Okay. Just a few more questions. Did you want to sort of fit into Canadian society, or did you feel that you had your own unique identity and you could just live with that?
Well, in school, I was trying to fit in to the mainstream. So, like I said, I cut my hair and I was clean shaved, so I was kind of fitting in. But what I noticed, it doesn't really matter what you look like. I feel right now, what I look like, I'm proud of it, and this is my identity. Now, for me, being a salesperson and selling homes, I can stand out actually out of the mainstream, so people will remember me. Where being blended into the other mainstream community, people will forget you. Now, if somebody sees my face and they see that on the road on the sign, they'll probably remember me more than comparably to the other people.
Okay. Do you remember any specific reason as to why you kept your hair again?
Well, I always believed in a religion, so I just wanted to get back into that part again.
Okay.
I was missing that.
If you could go back in time and change something, would you change something, and why or why not?
Well, I will definitely put more awareness to people in schools when the new kids are coming in. I would educate them more, the mainstream community and the children there, because these new immigrants that's coming into our country, they're here for a better future too, and they want to have a good life too. So their problems they're facing, they may not do things that you're doing right now, but these people who are coming here may have even better ideas or other things they can do that you cannot do. So I would say we need to help them so the kids in schools don't feel that pressure being isolated, so they can actually share their ideas with other people, and that will help somewhat control the gangs and the other conflicts that's happening in schools between different groups.
Okay. Why do you feel it's important to give a voice to you and your experiences?
Why is it important for me to give out the voice?
Yeah. So, like, why is it important for me to record this interview?
Well,
is it even important?
I think anything people do out there is somewhat is important to certain people. So for me to give out my voice is I'm kind of giving out my experience. Maybe who somebody can go ahead and see what kind of problems we're facing, so they may go back and change that in time or in future for the coming generations, so people will not face the same problems. Keeping that in mind, I faced these problems because I immigrated into Canada. If you really go back to the roots, even the mainstream community, everybody immigrated here. Maybe they didn't, the people who are living right now didn't do it, maybe their ancestors did, somebody did. So if we can help these people out and they can become better citizens here and put them to help them get jobs and stuff, so they can pay taxes, so we can all live a better life and peaceful life.
Let me just check to see if I have any other questions. Okay. Thank you.